There's a reason why the Basara women of Chad boast of ankle-length hair from simply keeping their strands braided up and lubricated with chebe, or why a vast majority of type 4 naturals grew their hair to waist length right before our eyes by sticking to strict rebraiding and retwisting routines, or why the only time I actually cut my hair retaining length was when I kept it tucked away in knotless mini braids and one time in knotted mini twists. I recall running away from the maximum hydration method that one time, and that was when the aggressive length retention began. So trust me when I say I've thought about this length retention and protective styling hard enough, and I'm ready to spill all the tea based on my unique experience. Hi there, welcome to this channel or welcome back. Here in this video, I just want to share with you some of my thoughts about length retention and protective styling as a 4C natural. I always have growth and length retention in view, and that's exactly what this video is all about. So if you don't have length retention in mind, these tips may not be the best fit for you. Look, people that say protective styles like mini braids and mini twists help them with length retention are not lying, especially for the type 4 naturals, specifically those with 4C hair. I'm talking about people that predominantly have 4C curl pattern throughout their hair, like me. True, I've seen people with looser curl patterns complain of hair loss from the tension of protective styles, and sometimes it cannot be helped if you have looser curl patterns and if your hairstyles are too tight. Where the issue lies is in how you are doing your protective styles. But debunking the fact that protective styles help people with length retention is just wrong, because you cannot expect what works for you to work for everyone in the same way. Many people believe that our natural hair should be left alone in its own natural fluffy state so that it can flourish and retain all the length. They would call it the laziest natural hair routine, but what if I told you that such routine has ruined the hair of some naturals? Because leaving it in its fluffy, shrunken state without care usually would create an unhealthy amount of tangles and SSKs. SSKs, I'm talking about single strand knots. There is one thing about natural hair, it is not a one size fits all affair. You can actually watch every single natural hair care video out there and you'll still be stuck in a hair growth plateau. Your hair routine shouldn't be too lazy that you cannot cater to your hair and keep the knots and tangles stretched and separate from each other. And also, it shouldn't be too choked up to the point that your hair doesn't have space to breathe. Balance. That's what I'm talking about. Natural hair needs the right balance, and protective styles actually help with that if they are done correctly. If your hair thrives from simply wash and goes or blow drying and going about your day, then that's your own unique experience. Good for you. But for many naturals, especially those in the type 4 range with tighter curl patterns, our hair needs more protection. It needs to be touched less often, moisturized very often, and kept away from rough fabrics and even synthetic hairs. So whichever method you're going to use to achieve these factors is up to you. But many of us simply choose natural protective styles like mini braids and mini twists because they're just handy and simple to wear for the most part. They are low maintenance too, and you won't need to crack your brain on the best condition to keep your hair. Protective styles are simple and effective for protecting Afro textured hair and retaining most of our length. No, protective styles won't make your hair grow faster, but they'll help you retain your length as you go by the week, and you'll see your hair getting longer and longer as the months go by. This is from my experience. So how exactly can you retain your length with the protective styles I just mentioned, such as mini twists, mini braids, and cornrows? That would be, first of all, you want to ensure your protective styles are not installed tightly. Come on, you'll know when something is tight. You are feeling the tugging and it's pulling your scalp upwards. It's normal to feel some tugging while the hairstyle is being installed, right? But it's been 2 hours now since you installed this so-called protective style and you're still feeling the heat. Girl, losing it. Take it down. Otherwise, you can start getting ready for hair loss and breakage. Let's pray that you don't start balding. I hope you get the message though. So whether it's going to be cornrows or mini braids or mini twists, make sure to keep them loose to an extent. No pulling, no tight hairstyles. Secondly, make sure you're moisturizing when the style is in. Create a schedule, use humectants, use teas. Use herbal teas if that's your thing, because people with more sensitive scalp, a lot of them testify that they cannot stand oils on their scalp. So teas and herbal sprays, Ayurveda sprays may be a better alternative. The point is, don't just leave your hair like that. As it gets dry and dry by the day, keep it as moisturized as you would if you weren't wearing any protective style. Thirdly, we're talking about nighttime care. Many of us do not have nighttime care for our hair and protective styles. Your pillowcase, make sure it is satin or silk or any fabric that isn't rough on your hair strands. How are you keeping your hair at night? That's the question. You can put it in a high bun so you don't press against it while you're sleeping and so that each strand is up in one place. Number 4 thing to note is that when installing mini twist or braids, do not borrow hair. Do not borrow hair. On each piece of hair, start with 2 or 3 strands depending on whether you're installing mini braids or mini twists, and end with the same strands in the same order. If you do not do this, the tangles and knots may overwhelm you and takedown will be more hectic, and you are more likely to snag on your hair strands from all the frustration, which would cause breakage and which will make it look like your hair isn't growing after every takedown. The next thing is that, talking of takedown, always moisturize your hair before taking down and make sure you add some extra oil on those ends so that your fingers glide through easily. You don't want any tension and you need all the patience you can get. Now, it doesn't matter that you do not protective style. Yes, there are naturals whose hair is thriving without protective styling, and the center point of focus is that you need to be gentle and patient with your hair. It doesn't matter the hair type. Always keep it moisturized and in good health. I hope these tips were helpful, and I'm positive that with proper care and by incorporating these simple tips, you'll be able to retain most of your length with protective styles in no time. Thank you so much for watching and see you soon. Bye.